because we may need them any day, and we do not want you to defeat and expenditures. I urge this board to perform its own projections, and if you have, it would be entirely appropriate and valuable to compare the kinds of projections that you've done with mine. Believe it or not, it really isn't a matter of saying those projections. That's not how you think about projections. We're trying to evaluate what could happen through the end of the current levy in 2023. We don't know the future, so we have to evaluate ranges. So if you allow Trustee Eichhorn and me to walk through this exercise that we've prepared, I'd not only be okay with you challenging my numbers, I'd really expect you should. That's how you use a projection. Through 2023, the chief has documented about $6 million of requested capital expenditure. He's also requested additions to staffing that would add about $3 million of additional expense over the same time period. In order to evaluate what is a surplus, we must consider a range for levy revenues, including any considered rollbacks along with other revenues, and primary decisions to decide upon, which are which capital expenditures and which staffing increases, if any, to plan for. As Trustee Eichhorn and I would like to walk through each of these items line by line. There's really not that many. It shouldn't take that terribly long. So, and let's go on record to which of these expenses can be included to allow whatever rollback and or other funding decisions that may be considered by this board as well as any future board of trustees. Obviously, we're going to be having an election, and we know that we're going to see some new faces. Defining a surplus at the end of 2023 as the amount in excess of the projected 2024 first quarter expenses is sort of like the bare minimum that you could give away, the absolute maximum, if we tell the fire department no on every single request, there's a sizable surplus. It's about over $8 million. Hopefully that's not going to be your decision, and please consider allowing us to go to the exercise. Thank you for your consideration.
Patty Mills. Patty Mills, 7544 Liberty Road North. I live across the street. The past year, there's been much discussion about the lack of timely EMS service to the northern part of Liberty Township. Recently, there's been a push to roll back taxes that the voters voted for in the last fire levy. Instead of dismissing the voters' direct wishes to fund the Liberty Township Fire Department, I propose that the trustees use the collected taxes and future taxes to build and equip Station 323. On page 6 of the minutes from February 4, 2019, trustee meeting, Mr. Demmerlein stated, and this is a quote from the minutes, the possibility of a third township firehouse was not discussed amongst the board, but that it was his comment. He continued that he believes it will be something that must eventually be considered to service the community to the north, end quote. If providing service to the community to the north is such a volatile issue in winter and spring, it seems reasonable, now that the means are available, to resolve part of the issue. Be proactive. The voters are not asking for a rollback. The voters anticipated that the Board of Trustees would be wise stewards of our tax dollars that we voted to have collected for Liberty Township Fire Department. Mrs. Lenahan, Mrs. Eichhorn, and especially Mr. Demmerlein. Before this board chooses to ignore the Liberty Township voters, now is the time to talk about making Station 323 a reality. There is money to start the project, and as Mrs. Lenahan has reminded us for several meetings recently, the current surplus will continue to grow. Show the voters who elected you that you do
to me as a resident of the southern part of the township. Station 322 covers my neighborhood. I'm on the board of trustees there in Libertydale. And when I have residents ask me why 68% of the time this year, Station 322 is either has been staffed with a two-man medic or had a fire engine or medic out of service because they only had staff to operate one piece of equipment at a time. They ask me, Nico, why is that the case? We have concerns and needs for service in our township. Why aren't we able to staff at that level? I don't have anything to fall back on except for what seems to be a misguided plan to trick the fire service staffing levels in order to build up a fund balance artificially. And that's a concern to me and the neighbors in Liberty Township. The other thing that I think I would note is that as we look at run volume and demand for service from the fire department, from 2010 to 2018, we saw an annualized return of 4.31% increase per year of runs. At the end of just to finish this point, at the end of this current levy, that would mean 3,659 runs demanded from this department with a decreasing staff. That's not sustainable from a safety perspective for the firefighters, and therefore not sustainable from a safety perspective from the residents. That's what we've always asked for in the renewal of the fire levy. We would ask you to properly staff the fire department instead of considering any unnecessary rollback of funds that need to be put toward proper staffing. Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, so my name's April Oney. I live at 10416 Torrington Drive, Powell, Ohio, 43065. I'm not quite sure, not quite aware of why we are talking about a levy rollback. Here's a soundbite from May 20th trustee meeting. Melanie, you are asking for $1 million from Delaware County, and this is Nancy Denudi's comment back. From them and get our increase from the $250 a run. So if you're trying to get that, but then we're giving away and giving the money back to the citizens, what is that, for one thing, saying to the county? They're not going to give us any more money. They're going to say, well, you guys don't need the money. You're doing this $4 million rollback. And so, and then my second part of this is, why does it have to be done right now? Why can't we look at this, we are just at the start of this levy, why can't we wait and look and see where we
text of the Liberty Township zoning resolution. Is that all you need? Okay. And then we'll take any public comment on the zoning, amending the zoning resolution. Anybody have public comment? Nico Fernando?
Thank you for the additional opportunity to address it this evening. I want to actually speak to an issue that did not make it into the current packet that you have for resolutions to consider in this particular adoption round. And that's something the zoning commission has considered, and they are going to do some additional study on it before potentially sending it to the board. I want to echo the testimony that I gave to the zoning commission to you this evening. It has to do with the rules and zoning code around pool fences and preventative barriers for what they're attractive nuisance. There was some talk in the zoning commission about potentially going to a fence or cover model in the zoning code. When we were speaking to the zoning commission, we rose to address the issues in our neighborhood in Libertydale as a trustee of that community. We have 82 homes in that community. We have between birth and high school age student or high school age children. We have about 110 children in that community, in that neighborhood, in a very particularly dense neighborhood. It's not one of the larger plotted neighborhoods in the community. The lots are about a quarter an acre to a third of an acre per home, so it's a fairly dense arrangement of homes. And we are fortunate enough to have two homeowners in the neighborhood that already have pools and have others that are considering it. Both of those have fences. One of them chose to install a cover in addition to that. We, as a neighborhood, we are lucky enough to have in our bylaws the requirement for pool fence for any pools that are installed in our neighborhood. We would strongly encourage the township to maintain that zoning code and maintain that policy. If folks want to add a cover as an additional level of security, that's fantastic. As we know, the zoning commission, the pool covers are a great protector for people that live at the house, and the pool fence is oftentimes an even better protector for those who live around the house. The bit of one of the things that we all love in our neighborhood is that there aren't play dates per se. When a child walks out their front door, they look to the right, there's a group of kids playing, and they look to the left, there's a group of kids playing, and they go and join their neighbors and enjoy a lot of fun. But that's to say that there's a lot of movement of kids throughout the neighborhood, cutting through yards to get to other friends to play. And so we see a lot of young kids trafficking across the lots where pools are installed in the neighborhood, and it's a safety concern for neighbors, and that we've heard at trustee meetings for a while for our board. There's a concern that we always make sure to enforce a pool fence as an additional level of safety. Pool covers, when properly closed, can be effective, but their efficiency rate or their usability rate is not anywhere in the 90th percentile. There was testimony in the zoning commission where a lot of times for the need of pool chemicals and the proper water quality in your pool, you need to have the cover off for a couple days out of the week. So there are plenty of times when the cover is not on, especially off the electrical outages. But the fence is always there. So we encourage, if pool fences ever come before your board, that you can strongly consider maintaining the current code to require a pool fence and allowing for additional pool cover if the homeowner would deem it appropriate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anything else, Tracy? Okay, any other comments? All right, close that. All right, close the.
Excuse me,
Oh, yes, sir.
what is the actual text that's being changed? We have no idea what that is.
We're dealing with the public hearing for amending the zoning code.
Yes.
And the public comments portion of the meeting is over. And so now we're going to move on to resolutions, and that'll be discussed during resolutions. Okay, are we good to close the public hearing for zoning? Have we fulfilled all of the requirements?
We'll have to vote on
Do we not have a resolution? It's not done by resolution. All right, so I'll move to approve the amended zoning commission's amended text to the Liberty Township zoning resolution. Can I get
I don't think the residents know what the changes are, or some of the changes to you.
Some of the changes include, we did pretty much a total rewrite of the fence regulations. It gives much more of an area to be fenced in for residents. We did an amendment for the size of accessory buildings, which takes into account not only the size of the dwelling, but also the size of the property, which they felt had to be proportionate. So now it's based on the acreage as well as the dwelling. What were some of the others? We tightened up some of the regulations on building designs. We changed the standards for sidewalks and bike paths to be developed under Delaware County engineer standards. Those were the major ones. We tweaked a few words.
Tracy, can you explain the process of this, of how you guys have come to today?
Sure. We started that in September, actually 2 years ago, September 2017. We held many public sessions. I can't tell you offhand how many. And this was as a result of keeping tabs over the previous year of things that just weren't working. Things that we noticed that in the rewrite of 2015 just it didn't fit for Liberty Township. So through the process of the last 2 years, we held many public hearings. Then when we got to the point of being finalized, the zoning commission did an initiation in April. From there, it went to regional planning. It went through the legal prosecutor's office. Then it went back to the zoning commission for their public hearing. And then here we are at the last step for the board of trustees for their action. So it's been a long process.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Resolution 190916-01. This is 2019 purchase orders and blanket certificates. On item 4, there is a I was going to ask for a motion to amend a resolution that was approved in the last meeting for playground resurfacing. We have it payable to McDaniels, and it actually should be payable to the bidding agent that sent it out to get lowest and best bids. So on this resolution, it reflects a payment to McDaniels Construction. And I don't know if you want to consider the motion to amend the previous resolution before moving forward with this and amending item 4 to IAPE.
I don't think the order matters.
Okay.
So can you tell me IAPE?
Item 4, 171-2019 McDaniels Construction in the amount of $96,651.05 should be IAP Inc., which is Innovative Architectural Planners Inc. in Columbus.
All right, I'll move to approve resolution 19091601 with the amending line 4 from McDaniels Construction, changing that to IAP Inc.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn? I'm sorry? Yes. Sorry. Mrs. Lenihan? One second. Yes. So I'll move to approve Resolution 1909-1602, with the amendment on the purchase order to McDaniel's Construction, changing it from McDaniel's Construction to IAP Inc.
So on the vote to vote the motion to amend, Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Mr. Gafferline?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
And then the vote to approve, Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Mr. Gafferline?
Yes.
Resolution 190916-03, approving Liberty Township credit card policy spending limits. We have a $40,000 total credit limit. This allocates the maximum amounts that each individual staff member can use.
Move to approve Resolution 1909-1603.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Mr. Gafferline?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
And as we're finishing the fiscal one, I would ask if the trustees would consider motioning to amend Resolution 190904-04, authorizing expenditure for playground surfacing. This is the one from McDaniel's that we would like to amend it to reflect payable to Innovative Architectural Planners, Inc., 2740 Airport Drive, Columbus, Ohio, 43219. The amount remains the same at $96,651.05.
Kathy, are you looking at 4?
This was the resolution from last meeting. This is not before in this packet. This is as a wrap-up with the first fiscal ones we just did, amending 090404 from last meeting. Okay, there's no resolution, it's just a verbal.
Okay, all right. So I'll move to amend Resolution 1909-04-04 to reflect the new payee to the IAP Inc.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Mr. Gafferline?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 190916-04, authorize expenditure for annual renewal of iWork zoning software. This is the software system that was put in place in the zoning office a year ago. And this is just time for the annual renewal.
Move to approve Resolution 1909-1604.
Second. No issues, Tracy.
Mrs. Icorn?
Is that including the maintenance within? It's everything included? Yes.
Mr. Gafferline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
190916-05, authorize additional expenditures for emergency repairs to fire department ladder.
Move to approve Resolution 1909-1605.
Second.
Mr. Gafferline?
Yes.
Mrs. part-time Parks and Road Services worker. This is a high school student to replace some of the college part-timers that we had in the summer that have gone back to school. And he will work in accordance with the Affordable Care Act guidelines.
Okay, move to approve resolution 19091606.
Second.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Resolution 190916-07, supporting the Delaware County Engineers Office submittal for ODOT safety funding for a future improvement at the intersection of Sawmill Road and Presidential Parkway.
Move to approve resolution 19091607.
Second.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Is that Sawmill Road or Sawmill Parkway?
Sawmill Road and Presidential Parkway.
Well, how close is that roundabout going to be to the fire department? Old Sawmill.
Okay.
So be on the other side. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It is.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Resolution 190916-08, authorize and direct the Township Administrator to provide legal notices pursuant to Ohio Administrative Code 4101-7-2-01H and contracts associated therewith, and to terminate the contract with the City of Powell for commercial building code administration and enforcement.
Resolution 19091608.
Second.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
No.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Resolution 190916-09, a resolution permanently reducing the collection of a tax levy for fire protection.
I'll move to approve resolution 19091609. But we have to fill in blank.
This is a permanent change?
No, it's 1 year.
Okay, it says permanently reduced.
That's just the legal requirements. And then next year you
Okay.
push it back.
Currently reducing this.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, because the way it's written is permanent, and we do not know if the future boards will reinstitute it at the same thing. So the way that it is written, it will stay permanent. We can't guarantee the next board will change it back.
Okay. Mike, from talking with you, I believe the prosecutor's office is advising that there is a chance that if we pass this resolution and it's done outside the time frame required to pass this, that could result in us not being able to collect taxes for next year. Is that, am I understanding that incorrectly?
The prosecutor's office is able to apply either way on it, because they asked for more time to discuss that and research, if there was a concern that would be the case, yes.
Can I put an amendment on this? That this is the resolution, provided that it does comply with the timeline requirements to file this. And then I am understanding if it does not, we'll revisit this. There's an understanding that we've got a few days anyway. So hopefully the prosecutor's office can tell us yea or nay. Might want to pass it and find out
file for the levy. If it does not meet those standards, the resolution will be rescinded.
I would say yes.
So I'm not going to be able to second that because of what legal counsel told me today, which is Peter Griggs says this is how it has to be written, that there are no, there's never the issue of it not collecting, that that's just, threw it out there. That would never, that's not the case. We're getting, other lawyers are definitely conflicting. We don't have anything yet from the prosecutor's office. They can't provide anything. So private legal counsel has prepared this, knowing full well that we can't go a year without it. And this is their recommendation.
So we're releasing legal advice right now. Well, we just did, so I'm just, again, trying to understand when we're not releasing legal information that we receive. But yes, since it's already out there, the prosecutor's office at this time could not tell us whether we could or could not be doing this.
That's correct.
I have a hunch that they don't know what to do with the tax code.
They did it in 2015. They've already done it, so I'm not sure why they're confused. Because in 2015, they did do this, the mental health levy. They did, in 2015, the mental health levy was rolled back in September. So what after the Budget Commission?
In September.
The numbers were all different.
Yes, this is the window. George, the auditor, has given us the process. He defined the process for it. He actually defined it in the newspaper as well. We have till October 1st, according to the auditor and the process, and all our meetings with it. And all we really need to do is fill in the blanks, and it's good to go according to our legal counsel. They recommended passing it tonight, and then seeing what the prosecutor's office has issues. So
I'll second that, Mike. Is that still on the table about putting that in there, or are you rescinding it?
Stay strong about it for the presently.
I'm sorry, what?
Let me think about it before I decide here. You're saying that
Peter Gregg said, first of all, a levy was rolled back in 2015.
I got that.
And it wasn't even just a township, it was countywide, and it was done in September after the Budget Commission, according to the process that we have followed by the guidance of the auditor, George Kaczek. He has walked us through this process. Mike has met with the deputy auditor, who come up with the numbers, spent several hours with the fire department representative, and Mike on Friday came up with the different possibilities, met today with the auditor. This is how he has always done it. This is the process he knows. It's not a statutory thing, it's a procedural thing. And so Peter Griggs has recommended that we pass this evening. And if there's any issues when the prosecutor finally comes up with an idea, he said we can adjust it at that point. But his recommendation is to pass it tonight.
we can adjust
First of all, I would like to say I spoke with County Auditor George Kaczek. He said he cannot give legal advice, that he was very much not saying this is exactly how it should be done. He was waiting for a response back from the prosecutor's office, which that has not come back. The conversations she had with the fire department, Trustee Lanahan, at no time there was communications about looking at numbers, but never was there any support of this was the process or this is what they were supporting. And that was based on phone calls that I have spoken with the person that was in that meeting at the time, and also with Chief O'Brien as well. So the only one at this time that is saying this process is the way it should be done is by private counsel.
So with a $3 million rollback, we collected 3.6 mils, and with a $4 million rollback, it would be around 2.9 mils. The deputy auditor recommended 3.6 mils. George was good with those
or shouldn't be on a rollback like this. He can only tell about the process. So for it right now is trying to be presented to you in the fact that there is this support behind it. Never has George Kaitza said that he is supportive of this. That is not the case. And I'm not saying that he's saying that it's not as well, but he's not saying he is for it either. He is trying to stay neutral as he possibly can and just trying to give factual information.
Mike, at the 3.6 mils with what Peter prepared, what was it amounting to for each 100,000?
Oh, I don't know right off the top of my head. I know that we were discussing the 2 mil rollback.
Yeah, but he gave you what is with 3.6 and 3.6.
3.6 would be $110.34. Is that what you're looking for? Currently at 5.6, if it would be collecting at 5.6, would be $171. So it would be $71 savings per 100,000. So if you're looking at an average of $400,000 home, you're looking then at
So what did Peter want? What did he have in that
Table it.
resolution?
Original 3.6.
And collecting how much for each $100 of tax migration? Okay, it's what he said.
it's in the email he sent, and it was $110.34 that you're doing at 3.6. So $71 saving per 100,000.
So, Senator, is there any projection other than the one we got from the auditor from George Kaitza?
I'm not sure. I know that we worked on the numbers based on the capital expenditures, and I know that I wanted to talk to you about that, really making sure that the community understands what is passed tonight, how it's going to impact the service and staffing.
I'm looking at the projections you got from George Kaitza. They go through 2020, there's no capital expenditures. He explicitly said he has no view on that. Have you looked at any other projections other than that? And also,
I have looked at it.
Also, by the way, why is that not displayed publicly? You and I talked about that earlier, but I actually have a problem with that.
Well, I know that, I'm not sure exactly what all research and homework that Trustee Gepperline and Trustee Lannan have done. I'm sure they've done quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. Again, this was something that was first thrown out in January, and now we're in this rush situation where we can't even have any working sessions with everyone for us to go by line by line. So at least for what we've worked with, Joe, and I know it would do a great deal of service to me and probably the residents here if we started plugging numbers in and showing what it would be like. And again, based on the resolution, the way it's written, we're not talking about just a rollback this year, we're talking about every single year. So if you're talking about collecting at a 3.6, which is, you're losing what, about a little less than 3 million? That will be every year, we will be operating with 3 million less than what our voters, the residents, who made their voices heard in November of 2017, 75% of you said that this is what you wanted. We are going to roll this back based on where we've heard time and time again how we need more money, how we're going to get more money. And what is disappointing is basically the chief has been told over the past few years that not to be spending this money, to be saving this amount of money for future capital expenditures, and maybe circling back around on staffing, only for that then and it's not even a surplus because we can discuss that. Really what it is a fund balance, and it's been built up now to be used against them. So we all know with houses and anything that that you own or that you work on, there's things that you have to reinvest. I think it's been very clear based on the last 10 months when we were trying to change to, or there was discussions about going to countywide EMS, what level of service you expect. That level of service, we're even having difficulty providing to you now. If you roll back this money,
Trustee, it's rolled back the accomplished by voter residents.
that's gone back and forth. I have to say, talking to County Auditor Kaitza, he didn't want to give legal advice on that. He said there could be, but you would have some hurdles with that as well. For example, would you be looking at putting out a replacement levy? If you do the replacement levy, then you're going to be in the same situation that we are talking about as if we do this rollback, and the way it's written, and then if it doesn't get put back next year, or even with this being, and maybe not next year, and we come to a point that we have to go back to the residents and ask for more money, that you would have
state funds going forward. I know it will affect the amount we collect on the state funds because we roll back, it's a smaller number. But if we say, oh, we do it for only 1 year, we go back to where we are presently,
Yes.
are we still solid with the state?
Yes.
My understanding-
No, I want to make sure that everyone's clear. Are you saying, Trustee Gepperlein, are you asking about the 87.5 and 12.5? Or are you asking about next year when the rates come to reset them again? If they're going to come in at what we passed tonight or at 5.6?
5.6.
Today, this evening when I talked with George Geitzel right before coming here, no, it will come in at the amount that is passed tonight, and we have to then vote to put them back at 5.6.
Yeah, we have to go.
And then-
That's what I was
So I'm referring to the state participation.
But having to put it back, but based on this resolution, it's for the rest of the levy, and we have no idea what the board is going to look like, because it is going to change. There is going to be a different person in this seat. And so if there's going to be a different person in that seat, we can't guarantee that that will go back up to 5.6. So if we're going to pass this written like it is, then we have to understand what it's going to look like if we're losing $3 million worth of funding every year.
And that same logic could be used as a different board may not consider giving money back to taxpayers
But we're locked in on this one. So we have to change it.
for a year.
I'm going to motion.
There's still a motion on the floor. Yes, there is. Trustee Gepperlein made a motion, so is he rescinding it? It's not seconded. I seconded it, so you're rescinding your. I'm sorry, I have yet to have trustees, I have yet to have Joe give the information. Are you giving the information, Joe?
I just motioned, Kathy, I moved to pass resolution 19091609, filling in .36 mils. At the bottom, be it further resolved, 3.6 mils. And .3.6 mils, the original that he provided with .36 cents for each $100. Just like it appeared in its original.
So, well, with that being said then, I think with that being out there and that amount of money that's going to be coming out that the residents have a right to see what's going to have to come out of the budget. So you understand what is going to be happening. Are you two saying that you don't want to go line by line in front of the residents to show them what this impact is going to have? So she is not, just for the record, Trustee Lanahan and Trustee Gepperlein are unwilling to let Joe Stoutenberg, I believe. Wait,
We disagree.
I'm sorry, what's Robert Rules? Robert Rules, I'm an elected official, and I'm asking for
Motion to
information.
end discussion on resolution 19091609.
Public discussion.
Ending the-
decent number, somewhere in that neighborhood, 5.5 to 6. It's not 8. And then down below, these are estimates for projected first quarter expenses following year. This is necessary because property taxes are paid twice annually, and you have to make it to the first quarter of the year, or else you can't write checks. And then this essentially just said, the backing off that amount. So this is what we call a true inheritance, right? So what we have here, there's a number of things you can do. The chief has asked for some staffing. We could talk about why that's to be needed. We can dial up or down levy growth, and that's a serious place where you can talk about. Are you gonna plan on expansion in your levy revenue? It's a possible. In fact, it's most likely. I think it's prudent to plan for the potential of recession, and
Just so I do want to say, just because I believe they went into executive, and I said I was going to stay here, so if anyone else wants to stay in, they can deal with the sunshine laws. Go ahead.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, go ahead.
Nice. All right, so anyway, I believe it's prudent to leave this at 0%. Levy revenue is pretty sticky, probably not likely to go down unless it's really, really terrible. Historic levy growth in the past 5 years has been about 2% per year. So what I put in right now is sort of the baseline of what you just asked for. So walking in here, I didn't even think about this as a possibility. Hopefully a future board of trustees would at least roll that back such that you put zeros in the 2021 to 2023. But this is truly a worst case here.
Worst case was just passed, correct?
Yeah, correct. It is not the worst. And you're looking at, and this is zero capital expenditure whatsoever, zero staff increase. You're looking at a negative fund balance, and of course, you're even more negative until you have to pay the next quarter of expenditures. This is, that would be pretty terrible, whoever gets in, if they can't turn this around. Honestly, and I know why you're asking me to evaluate what we've just, what has just been passed by resolution. Honestly,
Joe, we were going to go through and show and trying to find out if there truly was any money that we could put back, because that is important to do to our residents. But the fact of the matter is now this is what was passed. So since this was passed, it is important to show the impact.
I would back off this. I tend to be pretty optimistic. Maybe naive, I don't know, but I'd like to think at least we would get back to this. So, you do have some money to work with, potentially, ideally for staffing increase or capital expenditure. What's that?
Well, the thing about it is too, and it goes back to there really wasn't a surplus, because what it was a fund balance based on that. Since the original failure of the one levy, and then how we had to keep up with the loan that we took out, and then the directions that was given to the chief of not spending the money on some of the capital expenditures, and then like we've seen with some of the emails that were released about the staffing as well, that's how some of this money grew. But even with that being said, so even with that being said, if we wouldn't have done the rollback, and what this would have shown you is, okay, if we would have not done the rollback and not put in any staffing increases or capital increases, those were the numbers we're going to show. We were going to show if we were going to do, because the growth that we're going to have in this community, obviously, to be able to service, which I believe the numbers were given in the beginning. Nico, you gave the numbers of what is it per 1,000 right now?
1.35.
Right. So that is not what our residents want. You've made that very clear. You would want to increase staffing. I'm going to turn it back to you. What I'm saying, those models we're going to show then, you weren't going to have that type of fund balance at the end when you started putting back the capital expenditures and the staffing. Now, based on this, the way it was written, they can sit there and they can say the next board's going to change it back to 5.6, but there's no guarantees. So now we're looking at $3 million gone each year. I'm sorry, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, we won't go through this, but I would really, I don't know whether this is something that the rest of the board want people looking at, but it's a public document, and there's a lot of detail in this document about actually why the chief's looking for, not just aiming for a number, but no, but it's all public record, so
Could put this out online.
I didn't ask Trustee Eichhorn if I could slash it up there, but like I said, yeah. So I don't think the fire department would mind having this out there. I mean, the real issue to me is I wouldn't want them aiming for a number. 1.67 is sort of whatever it is. I think is sort of the national average. But the fact is, they can't staff their engines with the number that's recommended. We've already been told they can't even staff all their apparatuses consistently. So there's really solid arguments behind why she's looking for for staffing increases here. So that it's worth looking at. But yeah, I mean, without even doing, I really had hoped that we could get play around with these numbers with the other trustees here.
Put a lot of work into it. Joe, can you real quick, can you tell everyone your background just so they understand?
Yeah. So I'm an actuary. I work for an insurance company. By the way, the events at the last trustee meeting suggested I have been told that the one thing I can do is to clarify. Obviously, I'm speaking for myself and not and that's actually all that has to do with what happened at the last meeting. So I'm an actuary. I'm basically a numbers guy. I literally do like trillions of projections because we do derivative analysis of Wall Street type stuff. I'm conversant with numbers. And I'm used to thinking about contingent cash flows, risk. We think a lot about the macro economic environment. And, I can't tell you the types of things we're planning for nationwide because that would actually be proprietary and confidential. But certainly I'm the type of person who would approach this as saying, we should be prudent in the types of assumptions we make. If we do a large rollback and a recession hits and it's deep enough, you could say it's great to have, a couple $100 extra a year, or not even that. But you wouldn't stop paying your insurance premium because you thought the recession was coming. You want to have those mechanisms set up before times get bad. Because if it does get bad and we've rolled back this money, it'll be a lot more difficult to get the community to recapitalize the fire department in the midst of a recession. That's the type of thing I think about.
Can you just put up there what was just passed tonight and show the bottom line impact on this?
Yeah, you want me to put back up?
Put that up and show exactly what was passed tonight and what the implications of that are.
Yeah, so
what people are interested in.
Yeah, well, so again, this is true worst case. Like basically,
over, just kept going with the vote, and they adjourned it, and then told everyone that they needed to leave. I still haven't gotten the information I need to be able to vote properly, and wanted to make sure the residents understood what was about to be voted on. Because unfortunately, your brothers and sisters of your fire department just had a resolution where we roll back levy $3 million every single year till the levy is over, and now we're showing the impact that it's going to have. And so, although it's been stated that we were going to, that this was done for savings, so $70 per $100,000, it's very clear that in long term, it could cost us a whole lot more money. And so if we look at the pattern of what has happened, it's very clear this isn't about the money, this is about affecting.
Here's my idea. If I bring them back in and kind of keep the peace, is that?
Sure, they're more than happy to come back in. Absolutely, I'd be happy for, I would love for them to listen to this information. I'm sorry, can we keep going?
Yeah, see where we're at. Yeah, so somebody asked a question about, sort of, are we in this position because we've been understaffing or underspending? This is actually a really relevant number here. Trustee Lang actually mentioned.
Guys, can we just move this? It's really important to hear what Joe's saying. I'm sorry, he's put a lot of work into this.
Okay. So Trustee Lang mentioned this number. This is how much as a percentage of total budget we spend on personnel. Sorry, this is down here. Over the time period that I have financial records, looking at a little under 90%, which is what Trustee Lang quoted. And she attributed that to having a highly paid staff.
So, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, please,
I honestly, I don't know what else to say. They're requesting a leave.
She's a trustee.
I'm an elected trustee. Right, I understand. The way I'm understanding it is that if they want to move to an executive decision, then everyone has to.
that's fine, but if they want to move to an executive, that's fine, but I was going to keep this for keep getting the information, so there's plenty of other rooms if they'd like to leave. See, these residents aren't allowed to stay in a public place. I'm sorry, keep going.
All right. So we've spent just under $2 million in capital expenditure in the past, I guess it was 7 years. That adds up to 87% of total budget. I don't know. I doubt there's any one right number, but I sort of surrounded as I tend to do. And the recommended range is typically 65 to 85%. So we're north of that range in terms of how much. Their number, I mean, the number right here. Their number is 1.6 million.
Is that what she said she would not pay us?
I'd love to have. I wouldn't speculate on what the trustee would
This will be for election next year. This will impact us next year.
I wish I knew how to answer that one better. I think levy revenue rules are kind of arcane, and I wouldn't really be certain that I'm saying the right thing. That's on my list to try to learn. Frankly, actually, some of the numbers sections don't actually add up to me, and it might just probably just.
Any money, free money from the state is worth keeping. And especially if you're like 12.5%, because if it was 1%, it'd be something. But anytime you get free money.
I mean, it seems to me like if we had to recoup this money, it seems like we would be missing out on that state subsidy.
So that's not, so like if you're trying to save money from a financial perspective, again,
savings all line is pretty poor quality.
They only need two trustees in that meeting, they don't have to have.
But yeah, I mean, that's a reason. That could be a reasonable. And I'm sure that those documents probably exist, and I would like to know that, what has been asking for.
Because, I mean, manpower and personnel costs is kind of a constant other than merit raises and stuff like that. But the other items, have to work.
Until I'm told by.
If you're not approved, you have to officially inflate that personnel cost over a budget. Over a budget, correct?
Yeah, and yeah, I don't really have, I can tell you the actual dollars that we spent. You know, I have no insight into what was actually. I mean, if you want to have blurry eyes, you can look at it, of course. You know, that's all right.
We just have such a fantastic community, and it is so sad that it's not.
Nobody's disrupting.
And honestly,
Yes, I would like to say, are we being disruptive? Are we breaking any laws? Okay, thank you. All I ask is to be heard as an elected official. And whenever Melanie Lanahan wanted to speak in those first 6 years, never would I have denied her that opportunity, especially of something this magnitude. And I'm sorry, just go ahead.
yeah, and you know, to that point too, I mean, you know,
Go to numbers, just focus
Yeah,
on the
sorry,
numbers,
sorry.
Joe. Just
Right.
focus on the numbers.
well, I will say this, we can certainly keep track of how things actually.
Would you be willing, Joe, would you be willing in the upcoming months or quarters to come in and
Yeah, I mean,
do like a scorecard of how this is going to impact?
Yeah, you just start with this and just go in. So, you know, I mean, it's, yeah, again, there's some political stuff there, which, yeah, I'll stick to numbers and feel that way.
Go for it.
If, let's say, they roll it back and we use this money this coming year, if in successive years we are lucky enough that it gets put back to the rate we voted on, we're going to lose, you showed the slide where we lose X number of dollars. Is there money shown in the general fund and all with that?
Well, I don't know, where's our fiscal officer? Maybe she can speak on that.
So, I'm putting myself at risk.
Joe,
Yeah.
maybe give a better answer on.
No, I can answer that. There's about, we ended 2018 with about $3 million in the general fund. Now, that being said, we ran about a $700,000 deficit in roads and bridges. So they actually had to move some money from the general fund into there. So, you know, I mean, if you start talking about using the general fund as a backstop, I insist on projecting all of the townships' quantities. And I'm truly trying to be agnostic to this, you know, I mean, if it's supportable, if the general fund represents a quantity that really is expected to grow at a really significant rate, then, you know, let's talk about that. Maybe there's something there. You know, I mean, even though it's small, I don't mind having a little extra money in my, right? But yeah, so to answer your question, $3 million currently, you know, I mean, that's for what's worth. Somebody else asked also about the rainy day fund. So by law, I've read we're allowed to hold up to about a year's worth of expenditures in these operational funds. If you're looking at about $8 million, and give or take, that's what you could have to roll over in the year-end balance. You're able to have much more than that if you can justify a plan in the capital reserve fund, which there was in my opinion, probably not a sufficient amount, but prior to the 2012 and 2013 fiasco, sorry, the levies being failing and going a year without any income whatsoever, they had about $1 million in that capital reserve fund. It's effectively zero now. I mean, if I had had a chance to speak with the other trustees, I really would have suggested, you know, if we're going to talk about a rollback of were suggesting, well, the other trustees will argue, we don't need them, we can borrow from neighboring communities. So that's, at this point, as they like to say, it's a hypothetical because they're not here to say it. The fact is, all the equipment wears out. I think these guys use it pretty hard. So eventually you have to replace equipment that actually you cannot possibly do without. And the provision for that cannot be zero. So, I mean, if it's very, very small, then okay, let's do the math and let's see if it's small, and maybe we can kind of ignore it. I doubt that's the case. So if we're going to talk about rollback of operational funds, I really would pivot back to talk about, a capital reserve fund, and which, again, it just doesn't exist. We don't have that plan.
With Ohio State building their medical facility, which is going to be the tallest building in the township.
It's in the city, but yes, go ahead.
It was part of the township.
Right, what I'm saying is I don't have the plans. Do we know how big of that building ended up being passed? It's 8 stories?
Whatever, but.
Well, you're the fire prevention officer, so the last time you checked, it was 9. Okay.
Yeah, well, and this is getting outside of my specialty, so I wouldn't guide this.
But my point is, we need to budget for whatever equipment we need to support that facility.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is,
Talking about the growth. We should be talking about what are the upcoming needs. And the thing about it is, too, is that, Trustee Lanahan and Trustee Gepperline, all they need to do is show the numbers and how they got to justify where they were at today, because we do answer to the residents. So
Except they're not.
Well, what I'm saying, so that's what's disappointing, that they didn't go through this exercise, because they easily could have went through this exercise and said to you, we do plan on having a ladder truck, or we don't plan on having a ladder truck, but we don't know any of these answers because they chose to immediately. But go ahead.
So I'm going to drill you maybe a little bit. And again, we're getting back to the topic that I raised, which I understand. I mean, it really gets to the sunshine laws. Completely not numerical stuff, but I'm an armchair lawyer, sue me, I guess. So there's prohibitions in the Ohio Open Meetings Act to have so-called round robin meetings, where every member of the public body has access to the same material, but that's not revealed in public. And I understand what you were saying, Trustee Eichhorn, that there's a certain amount of preparation, and a lot of this happens with Mr. Schuling kind of coordinating. So, I mean, I can make allowances that maybe there's some of this is just how you have to work. But to me, within the spirit of the sunshine laws, I mean, this document that we're looking at here would be critical. As far as I can tell, this is the only projection that the other trustees have had to do so. And you notice it only goes to 2020, and the expenditures and the email from George Tyson was very explicit. He said, I don't have any view on capital expenditures. So he really just sort of straight lined, the sort of operational budget. And this is, again, this is all they had to go on, and this has not been exposed in, I presume we're not in a public meeting anymore, right? Right? So I mean, I do have very serious, actual questions about whether there's been a violation of sunshine laws. If so, the remedy is pretty simple. You can't completely undo it, but you have to rehold the meeting, including the public information, which would be great. I'd like to have a read of this. So in any event, that's for what it's worth. That's a view on that. I'd like to keep talking with you, Trustee Eichhorn, but I understand that you do have a view on kind of how this township does work, and when it's absence that time. So, I mean, it certainly seems reasonable to talk about that. So I'd fill that in right now. And you can see the numbers start to change. You start spending money. What do you want to spend it on? And really it just becomes a matter of walking through here. And I don't know how long it would have taken. I would love to have given the other trustees a chance to go through line by line and say, am I going to approve that or not?
Right, is it a want, a need, is it something the community needs or wants, or,
Yeah, and I mean, okay, so we want to update the bathroom. You guys know the bathrooms. Yeah, or, I'm sorry, facetious, but, you can go through stuff and say, this concrete pad, my understanding is it's chewing up the vehicles that are driving across it, so you're going to be having more maintenance expense if you don't pay this one. So you're not going to come out ahead by not doing this one. So, you just start picking stuff out. If you want to talk about vehicles, the things we actually use, we'll give them for a second. Okay, we don't need a ladder. We do, but, let's say that we just make that decision. You start going through refurbishing, the ambulances. Let's see here. I know there's another one right up here. Sorry.
Joe, to be fair, so all the things that are on there are chief's needs list versus a want list. So just for the kind of point of illustration, could you fill in, the hundreds on everything except for, say, the equipment and building costs of Station 323 and the expansion of 321?
And Nico, Station 323 was in the earlier drafts. It's gone here. It's not.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is that people got to understand is that this really is the need list. You don't even really have the wants on here anymore. And those should have been discussed in front of the public too. I know I'd like to have more money in my pocket. I really would. Of course, I think everybody would. But what is the price tag to that? And I think that's where it's been lost over the last 10 months. That we continually, as a community, over and over said, this is the type of level of service that we want. We want to save money in other ways, but not on this one to the detriment of the services that we're going to provide today and into the future. With 323, I don't know. I don't know if we need 323 yet, but that's the point. We don't know. There has not been tremendous analysis done by this board yet. So
process that's just occurred is not that passing the motion by basically rescinded. I mean,
I'm not a lawyer. I mean, again, I'm sure I'm going to get quite a bit of legal advice tomorrow. No, I do not. You know, as a chairman, you have to be able to control the meeting, but you also can't do it where you do not allow a fellow elected official to be able to get the information they need to be able to vote on a matter. And it was used as strategy to shut me down, not about really conducting a meeting. And so that was unfortunate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Cindy, did you want to? That's it. I'm sorry, introduce yourself.
I'm Cindy Minow. My question is that, and I do have a problem hearing, but there was a motion on the table, there was a discussion, there was an amendment to the motion. It's my understanding that Trustee Everline withdrew his amendment, but the motion was never withdrawn. And then another motion went through, and that's what I heard.
Yes, I'm going to have to go back and study it. I mean, it got a little chaotic at the end. Yes, there seemed to be quite a bit of chaos there. I don't think it was followed correctly, but
I mean, that's just what.
those are things we're going to have to, and I think that's a good point to look at.
And another thing, are they coming back?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know if they're coming back in this room or not.
they're in executive.
Well, they're an executive. When they're done with executive, then they would come out, and I don't know if there's going to be anything done from executive or not. And that's, you have waited for a long time.
I just wanted to know if that grant for the 3 firefighters, is that yearly? Can we apply for that next year?
I don't know the answer. I just know that we missed the time frame, and what was frustrating about that is when we have 2 trustees that consistently are saying this is about money, and it's not about impacting the fire department, but yet we saw an email exchange from Trustee Lanahan where the fire chief asked for us to be able to go to a grant that again, I'm going to have to study the grant. I have not, because this was brought to light to me, but that we would not have to pay for that. And then the response was not only was not willing to maintain it or increase it, but we're going to decrease it. That to me then isn't, that's not about saving money. That's about trying to make some big changes. The service. And again, that to me, when you sit there and you talk about being for the people, you know, Township trustee is the lowest form of government. We are here, in any form of government, we are here to be your voice. This is the overinflating of importance of the people is out of control. We are supposed to be representing what you want. We're not supposed to be telling you what you, like a big brother said, what you should want. You're supposed to be telling us what you want. And you did that by 75% vote.
Correct.
And as we said, if we could justify giving money back, I mean, for our differences, I still was very willing to go through the exercise. At the end of the day, if we had $800,000 to give back, give you less than $30, per house. But still, that's something, right? Like per 100,000. But again, those analyses weren't truly, they weren't truly done, and they certainly weren't done as a board. They were clearly done in silos.
Clearly. What's the impact to the fire personnel and what's the plan for that?
Well, it's very different if looking at $3 million for this year or looking at what they passed right now, $3 million every year, and then what all we're going to have to dip into to
without dipping into the general fund, maybe they can do all the capital expenditures they hope to. These are all estimates, by the way. I've not looked at every page of the document that they specify, there's highs and lows, but so I mean, yeah, I mean, they might have money to spend on it, but again, I stress, you don't set a so-called surplus to try to hit a zero balance. You set a surplus because you have an ample, excess, and there's no way whatsoever that I can justify, even remotely saying that there's a surplus. There just isn't. I'd like to try to help them see that there is one, but I mean, that there's not, And again, going back to what we talked about earlier, there is zero capital reserve fund. I won't drop a name, but there is a candidate for fiscal office I support who, he and I talked about, what he would do to put in place such a fund and such a plan. I mean, that's critical. It's not being commented, so I guess I gave it away. Sorry. But, sorry, I'm going to get in trouble for that. But yeah, but sorry, I should stick to my numbers too. But truly, I mean, I view this as if this can't be undone, obviously it's a hit. It's money we could, in theory, get back by going back to the voters. But I know there's some complexities about exactly how you have to sequence putting levies on the ballot, and I mean, there's a cost to it. There's the state subsidy that, I mean, in 2013, Ohio changed its tax law such that any new property tax levy passed anywhere in the state after, like August 2013, was no longer eligible for the subsidy. As long as you kept replacing your levy, you can have it indefinite. But if ever you remove the levy, or you do a levy increase on top of it, you lose the entire 12.5%. So, if that didn't exist, then you can kind of say, I give it back, I take it back, but I mean, it is a real cost if the future trustees decide that they do want to grant more of these capital expenditures, not to speak of building a capital reserve fund. And the community is going to have given up, something, I would say on the order of $300,000-$400,000, of real money that the state would have given us in subsidy for this.
For that decision, 12.5%.
12, yeah, and again, sorry, I don't know, Nico over there is not entirely paying attention, but he talked as if he knows how this works. So I think there's some stuff about like levy math that is just, because it's the government, so it can't just be 0.125 times the quantity. But it's pretty clear though that there's, and I think we should probably sit and sharpen pencils before we talk about that.
And I do not foresee staffing changes, anything being done until January 1st. And then, so again, I don't want you to go home tonight scared. I don't even want you to leave in fear, but we definitely have some issues now that we're going to have to be dealing with.
Yeah, to clarify that, and again, this is certainly not my decision, it's not Trustee Eichhorn's alone, but, I don't see it saying, any of the firefighters are going to get laid off. There's certainly is money to continue current operations, but, they really put a damper on any potential to
The problem though, Joe, is the current operations of the way it is being run right now is not what the residents had voted for or thought was happening. So it's not like where we kind of before there might have been some extra and we were cutting it back. You were already at that critical point, and now you've even taken away from that. So that is where, you get to that point of, there's a different statement of saying, can we survive or can we get by? Or are we at a place now where we still can, it might be tighter, but we can provide the service that was voted on and expected? I don't see that with these numbers that we're going to be able to do that second part. I think the statements that'll be is that, again, they're back in survival.
I don't know. I certainly wouldn't want to set preference. We can do a GoFundMe or something.
No, but I'm sorry, yes. I'd say 5 minutes probably.
My name is Dave Montgomery. I do not live in the township. I am the vice president of the Ohio Association of Professional Fire.
Yes.
What I'd like to say is, first of all, answer your question. The SAFER grant is you can apply every year for the SAFER grant. I really don't know why they turned it down. It's really not going to get any cheaper. If you had a surplus, you know you're going to build that station. This area is one of the fastest growing areas in the country, and you are going to build a firehouse. And so what happened here is they just gave that away, and you're going to have to figure out a way to do it, because it's going to happen.